the first time I ever saw the Grand Canyon, and you walk up and look over, and there's the biggest hole you have ever seen. And it is so big that it overwhelms the senses, and it literally takes your breath away. Your mind stops, your breathing stops, your body goes through these interesting sensations because you've never seen anything that big in your life. That's the kind of experience we want to look for within. We want to reproduce that within, because that inner space in us is way bigger than the Grand Canyon. And if we can become aware of that, that shuts down the thinking. We don't have to observe thoughts coming in and going out. That's like so far away from us, it's not even an issue. And feelings the same way, because the only feeling we're experiencing is one of absolute awe. We're just breathtaking. This is like, this stops everything. We're stopped in our tracks. That's the kind of experience that's immediately available to us if all we have to do is back up into it and start feeling our way into that inner space. And that's presence. You see, that's like, that's why we focus on the light, in illumination, because the light is a living presence. Light radiates. Light is a presence. You can't have light without the sense of it being its own thing, its own living presence. It's an aliveness. And that's what we are. See, so when we go within and we're looking for that aliveness, what we're doing is we're really tapping into our own aliveness, which is, it manifests in our body. Like we have a central core, we have a central nervous system and spinal cord, and there's all that activity in there. But this is even deeper and more transcendent than that, because all of our internal, our nervous system is like an antenna. It's being excited from this deeper aliveness that we are, the aliveness that will always be there even when this body dies. You see, when this body drops away, that's where we find ourselves, is in that aliveness that we already are. And that's called the spirit. And it has a body of its own, and that we call the soul. So we've got these layers to ourselves. So what we're doing in meditation is we're becoming more and more aware of who and what we really are. You see, and there is no better way to get close to God, because that's like the threshold. Once we have to become aware of our own aliveness before we can approach God, because God is also an aliveness that we are nested within. So the only alternative, if we're not aware of that aliveness, is the chatter that's going on in our heads, right? The thoughts, the identifications, the feelings, the reactions, the desires, all of that stuff, that's just all mental chatter. And like the desires and the feelings, that goes a little deeper, it's not just, cerebral activity. It goes into the deeper systems, but it's still basically the same thing. It's not us. What we are is the aliveness that precedes all of that. You see? So as we become more and more aware of that, then we have even the possibility of coming into contact with God itself, and not just an idea of God. You see, so this is how it's the experience that we're going for. We don't want to understand God, because we can't, it's too big, but we can sure as hell experience God. And that's what meditation, if we do it right, if we approach it in this way, that's what it avails to us. That reality is revealed, and it becomes a lifelong pursuit. And even when you find yourself in some kind of out-of-body experience, even if that's physical death, that's the ultimate out-of-body experience. That's where you find yourself. You find yourself as that core of aliveness that is who and what you are. And then you're in a whole different space. That's the space you want to get into. You want to learn that. You want to be the explorer and go within. And that's what it means to go within. It's like in the Chronicles of Narnia, C.S. Lewis, he said Narnia. He says, you want to know where it is? It's farther in and higher up. That's where we want to go. We go within, we want to go farther in and higher up.